In 1922, deep in Egypt's Valley of the Kings, British archaeologist Howard Carter made the discovery of a lifetime. Hidden for over 3,000 years, the tomb of the boy pharaoh Tutankhamun was untouched, filled with gold, mystery, and death. As Carter peered through a small opening, Lord Carnarvon asked, "Can you see anything?" Carter replied, "Yes, wonderful things." But shortly after that moment, strange deaths and rumors began to swirl. Was it coincidence or the wrath of an ancient curse? Just a few months after the tomb's opening, Lord Carnarvon, the expedition's wealthy sponsor, died unexpectedly. A mosquito bite became infected, leading to blood poisoning. Strangely, when he died, all the lights in Cairo reportedly went out. Even more eerie, his dog howled and died back in England at the exact same time. The press exploded with stories of the curse of the pharaoh. Ancient Egypt's magic, it seemed, had struck back from beyond the grave. But where did this idea of a curse come from? The tomb's entrance had a clay tablet inscribed with a warning, "Death shall come on swift wings to him who disturbs the king's peace." Though that plaque mysteriously disappeared, stories spread like wildfire. Newspapers loved the drama. Egypt was suddenly more than sand and pyramids, it was haunted. Was this superstition, or had the ancients left behind something more sinister, something meant to protect their dead? Within a few years, several others involved in the tomb's opening died under mysterious or sudden circumstances. George J. Gould, a wealthy visitor to the site, died of a fever shortly after leaving Egypt. A radiologist who x-rayed the mummy, Sir Archibald Douglas Reed, also passed away suddenly. The list grew longer. Suicides, diseases, accidents. It felt like a curse was unraveling across continents. But was there a scientific explanation hiding behind the veil of myth? Let's explore one theory: mold. When Carter opened the sealed tomb, he unleashed ancient air trapped for centuries. Scientists later discovered that certain toxic molds like Aspergillus flavus can survive in dry environments. These molds produce deadly spores. If inhaled, they can cause respiratory failure or weaken the immune system. Visitors to the tomb may have unknowingly breathed in invisible death. A curse? Maybe not, but a deadly biological trap preserved in silence. Another possibility: radiation. Some researchers believe the ancient Egyptians may have used naturally radioactive materials in their embalming process or tomb protection. Minerals like uranium and thorium are present in Egypt's geology. Over thousands of years, these could emit low-level radiation. Anyone spending time in the tomb might experience cumulative exposure. Though this theory remains debated, it offers a chilling modern parallel to the idea of a magical curse science masquerading as myth. There's also the theory of ancient poisons. Could the Egyptians have booby-trapped their tombs? Some archaeologists believe that containers of volatile chemicals like quicklime or bitumen were sealed within burial chambers. If opened, they might release fumes or toxic substances. Others point to snake venom or scorpion oils brushed onto surfaces. While no concrete evidence has confirmed this, the idea fits with Egypt's intense obsession with protecting the dead. A trap set millennia ago, still working, but not everyone died. In fact, Howard Carter, the man who literally entered the tomb, lived until 1939, nearly 17 years later. Most of the excavation team survived well beyond the initial discoveries. This fact cast doubt on the curse. So why did the myth persist? The answer lies in psychology and publicity. The Western world was obsessed with Egyptomania. Stories of ancient curses sold newspapers, captivated imaginations, and made Tutankhamun more famous than any living king. Still, coincidences piled up. Sir Bruce Ingram received a mummified hand as a gift from Carter. Soon after, his house burned down. When he rebuilt it, it flooded. Was it bad luck or something darker? Even skeptics began to pause. The deaths, accidents, illnesses, they weren't statistically impossible, but they felt uncanny. When enough strange things happen, the human brain looks for patterns. And the myth of the mummy's curse fit too perfectly. Modern scientists tried to calculate the truth. A 2002 study examined the lifespans of those who entered the tomb. The results? No significant difference in death rates. In fact, many lived long, healthy lives. But science can't explain everything. It can't touch the spine-chilling feeling of walking into the tomb of a forgotten king. It can't silence the whispers in the dark corridors. Was it mold, myth, or metaphysics? The deeper we look, the more blurred the answer becomes. Tutankhamun ruled during a turbulent time. His father, Akhenaten, had upended Egypt's religion. The priests of Amun had lost power. After Tut's death, Egypt worked to erase this period. His name was struck from records, but the tomb remained hidden, perfectly sealed beneath debris. Was it protected by chance or by design? Could Egypt's priesthood have set spiritual defenses, curses, incantations, unseen barriers to prevent disturbance? The idea of protective magic isn't fiction. It was real religion to the ancients. In ancient Egypt, death was never the end. The afterlife was a perilous journey. Tombs were stocked with spells, weapons, and guardians. The Book of the Dead was not just poetry, it was a survival guide. Gods like Anubis and Osiris judged the soul. Disturbing a tomb wasn't just theft, it was a spiritual assault. The soul of the dead might retaliate. So perhaps the so-called curse wasn't punishment, but defense. A soul forced to fight for its rest. One particularly strange death was that of A.C. Mace, a key member of Carter's team. He helped open the tomb's inner chamber. A few years later, he died from arsenic poisoning and severe illness. Another, Arthur Mace, also died suddenly. These weren't ancient people fearing gods. They were educated, modern men falling to invisible forces. Whether bacteria, stress, or something beyond science, these deaths kept piling up. The tomb's darkness seemed to follow them wherever they went. Even Howard Carter began to wonder. He never admitted belief in a curse, but he witnessed strange things. His pet canary was swallowed by a cobra the day they opened the tomb. In Egypt, cobras were royal symbols, guardians of the pharaoh. A coincidence? Maybe. But even Carter's team noticed an eerie silence inside the tomb, as if they were being watched. Every creak, every whisper felt amplified, as if the dead were listening from behind the walls. Years after the discovery, Carter wrote, "It was as if we had awakened something sleeping." The weight of Tutankhamun's world pressed down on every artifact. Tiny statues radiated intensity. The golden mask seemed to gaze back. This wasn't treasure hunting, it was confrontation with eternity. Even skeptics felt the spiritual gravity. In Egypt, names were power. To erase a name was to kill forever. To speak, it was resurrection. By saying Tutankhamun, Carter revived a forgotten god king. The media frenzy around the curse took on a life of its own. Newspapers ran with headlines like, "Pharaoh's curse strikes again." Every new death fed the myth. Hollywood joined in films like The Mummy, turned ancient Egypt into horror. But myths need seeds, and the tomb's atmosphere, the strange coincidences, and real tragedies gave that myth soil to grow. The public didn't just want history, they wanted mystery. And Tutankhamun's tomb offered both, in terrifying beauty. Let's not forget the role of colonialism. Western archaeologists entered lands filled with sacred meaning. They removed treasures, cracked open sarcophagi, and sent mummies across oceans. To many Egyptians, this wasn't science, it was desecration. The idea of a curse may also be cultural revenge, a warning to those who ignored spiritual boundaries. While science dismissed curses, local voices said, "You shouldn't have disturbed the king." Perhaps the curse wasn't supernatural but deeply human. In truth, the curse was never one thing. It was a fusion of death, superstition, press sensationalism, and fear of the unknown. Some died of illness, others from coincidence. But all were touched by something ancient, something echoing from the walls of a forgotten tomb. Even today, the idea of a mummy's curse persists. Maybe not because it's real, but because it reflects our fear of what lies beneath the surface, locked in time, waiting. Tutankhamun himself likely never imagined he'd become a global icon. He was a minor king, buried quickly, remembered vaguely. Yet in death, he found immortality. His tomb became legend. His name, once erased, was reborn. And the mystery of what happened to those who entered his resting place? It lives on. Whether science or sorcery, logic or legend, the line between them remains blurred. In that blurring, the boy king smiles. His secrets remain sealed in gold and silence. Long after the tomb was opened, Tutankhamun's treasures toured the world. Millions stood in line to see the golden mask, the chariots, the shrines. And wherever the artifacts went, whispers followed tales of strange lights, bad luck, even death. In San Francisco, a guard collapsed beside the display. In London, a curator fell ill after handling a funerary amulet. Were these coincidences, or echoes of a power still active, bound not by time but by belief? The curse even inspired science. Microbiologists began studying tomb pathogens. Psychologists examined fear, suggestion, and mass hysteria. The mind, it turns out, can trigger real symptoms, especially under stress or belief in danger. The mere idea of a curse might cause palpitations, nausea, or even death. Could ancient curses work not through magic, but through the mind itself? When the brain believes in danger, the body often follows. The curse may be more psychological than supernatural, yet something deeper remains. Tutankhamun's tomb is one of the only royal burials found nearly intact. Every item, every statue, jar, and chair was placed with purpose. This wasn't a storage room. It was a cosmic engine, designed to help a soul ascend. The symbols, the spells, the architecture all work together. Disturbing that system may have ripple effects we still don't understand. Maybe the curse wasn't an attack, but the result of breaking a delicate, sacred order. Many who entered the tomb described a sense of awe, almost religious. The air was dry, yet heavy. The silence was complete. Walls shimmered with gold and gods. Inside, time felt different. Even modern scientists found their tools disrupted, batteries drained, lights flickered. Rational explanations exist, but so does wonder. Some experiences resist explanation. When we step into ancient space, we bring our modern selves, but we enter their world. And maybe, just maybe, they still watch. There's a final name on the list of the cursed. Evelyn White, a British Egyptologist who visited the tomb. He wrote a chilling note before his suicide. "I have succumbed to a curse which forces me to disappear." Was he mentally unstable or genuinely haunted? We'll never know. But his words became another brick in the legend's wall. Each name, each tragedy, each story added weight. The curse was no longer just a tale. It became a legacy. Howard Carter died in 1939 at age 64, having lived decades after the tomb's discovery. No dramatic end, no curse, just quiet death. But to the public, that didn't matter. They remembered the first deaths, the glowing mask, the howling dog. The myth had outlived its facts. That's the power of storytelling. It reshapes history, molds fear into legend, and carves mystery from reality. In the end, it wasn't a curse that killed people. It was belief. Even today, Tutankhamun's story continues to grow. New DNA studies reveal details of his family, health, and origins. CT scans examine his injuries. Digital reconstructions show his face. Yet no scan can measure the aura of that tomb. No microscope can explain why people still whisper his name in hushed tones. Tutankhamun is more than a mummy, he's a symbol. A mirror of our fascination with the dead, and our fear that some things should stay buried. The tomb's treasures rest in climate-controlled cases now, watched by cameras and guards. But behind the glass, the spell still lingers. Gold flickers. Eyes painted on sarcophagi seem to follow. The boy king, embalmed and crowned, still waits in silence. Whatever killed those who entered mold, myth, mind, or mortality, it's a reminder. The past is never truly dead. When we uncover ancient worlds, we awaken more than artifacts. We awaken memory, magic, and mystery. So, what killed the people who opened Tutankhamun's tomb? Science offers bacteria, toxins, coincidence. Myth offers vengeance, magic, divine wrath. Psychology suggests belief itself may have been fatal. But maybe the truth is this: the tomb wasn't meant to be opened. Not by us. Not in our time. And in crossing that line, something responded. Whether curse or consequence, the price of curiosity was paid in fear, in death, and in legend. Tutankhamun never spoke, but his silence echoed. The tomb of Tutankhamun remains one of the most iconic discoveries in history, not just because of gold, but because of mystery. It blurred science and superstition, life and death, fact and fear. What killed those men? Maybe everything, or maybe nothing, but their story became part of his. And as long as people ask, wonder, and explore, the curse will live on, not in the tomb, but in us. Because every legend, in the end, needs someone to believe it.